Hello, welcome to the Fourth Heritage channel. This is a channel where we inspire the change of mindset. And in this video, I want to talk about the three ways that people can change their mindsets. The first way is without effort. You can change your mindset without your own effort. And then the second and third require you to actually put in effort. So the first way people can change their mindsets is by epiphany or by something supernatural. We've all heard about the Eureka experience. This is an ancient Greek story where I think the guy was called Eureka, and when he was having a shower, some idea came to him, and he came out of the shower, and voila, he had the answer to the question that he was pondering for a while. And that is why that a sudden realization, a sudden change of your mind is sometimes called a Eureka experience. So, or an epiphany. So the first way you can change your mindset is not through your own effort, but through something in the universe that just comes into your mind and you just change. I think the most famous person who changed 180 degrees, what I mean, he was doing one thing and then he ended up doing another thing. There are many other people, but the most famous one is Paul. You know, he was called Saul, and then on the way from Jerusalem to Damascus, something happened to him, and he changed his mind from killing Christians to being a Christian. Actually, not being a Christian, being the greatest Christian. Yeah? I mean, it wasn't his effort, something happened to him. So that is the first way you can change your mindset. If you are weak, you could become strong by having a Eureka or epiphany or some experience that restructures your mind. So that's one way. Yeah, so you just hope that something good happens to you, that you can change your mindset. But the second and third, as I said, the second and third don't rely on luck. They require you to actually put in effort. The second way you could change your mindset is to explore or to travel or to leave home. If you leave home and you go into the wild, into an area which is not home, which means where you're a visitor, where you're a stranger, and the way you interact with that foreign environment can lead you to change your mind or your mindset. Personally, this happened to me when I was 10, 11 years old, when I moved from my tribal area in Uganda to go to another part of Uganda where I couldn't speak their language. And my English at 10, 11 years was really bad, even worse than the one I'm using now. But that experience of being a foreigner, it makes you introspect. It makes you go inside yourself and actually ask, who am I? How do I communicate to people? What is right? What is wrong? What is proper? What is allowed? What is taboo? When you are at home, you know what is allowed and what is taboo. But when in a foreign land, you don't know. So by consciously or cautiously trying to figure out what it is that you can do to be normal, to be part of the society, that experience can change you. And you end up becoming a different person with maybe new behaviors, new norms, new beliefs, whatever. So moving out from your home to travel, to explore, to be a stranger can cause you to change your mind, your mindset. It happened to me twice. as I said, when I was 10, 11 years. And then when I moved from Uganda to the US, when I was living in the US, it actually changed my mind because I had to learn anew what it means to live in America. So that is the second way. But the third way you can change your mindset or your mind is my most interesting one. It is through reading, through active reading. I don't mean reading books that school tells you to read. No, this is reading books. And as I wrote in The Fourth Heritage, my first book, there are three types of books that you can read. The first one is books that you just skim, or if it were food, it's like you just taste them. These are books like curriculum, school books. These are books, topics that you are not interested in. Those books, if you read them, you're just gonna skim them or you just test them, but they don't do much to you. They don't do much for your mindset. So that's the first type of books. The second type of books are the books which you actually swallow. I'm using the imagery of food just so you can get the picture. The second type of books are those books where they give them to you and you read, and like you swallow, like you actually take in the book. But that's it. Maybe you can tell someone, oh, I read that book. But that's it. It did not do anything. But the third type of book is the one I'm talking about. These are the books which you eat, you chew on, you savor, and when you're done, you ask for more. And if it's a physical book, you keep it. And after a month, after 6 months, after 12 months, you come back and reread it. Those are the types of books that can make you change your mindset. And when I was writing my book, The Fourth Heritage and Beyond the Fourth Heritage, I wanted them to be that third type of books for tropical Africans, for young people who have a background based on orality or African stuff, who have to study in colonial languages and have to interact with modernity. If you are that young person, I was thinking about you that if you were to read my book, The Fourth Heritage, can you savor it? Can you chew and swallow and enjoy it such that next month or next year you come back and read it? Why? Because it tickles and challenges the fundamental things about our worldview, which is so contested by our tribal, religious, and colonial impacts. That worldview is so confusing and so bewildering to many of us that I wrote those books to enable one to actually wrestle with some of the way I structure my arguments, such that when you follow through my thinking, my propositions, it actually perturbs you or it disturbs your mind. And if you go through to engage with it, it changed me. And many young people who have read the books, they say they've inspired them to change. And so I have real life examples, illustrations that my books have changed minds. And so that is the type of book. If you read, you can change your mindset. When I was growing up in my teenage years, I read books of the first, second, and third type. But one of the books of the third type that I read is a book which I read in my second year of university. It was by Carl Sagan. He was my favorite author when I was in school. Every 5-10 years, I keep changing who my favorite authors are, because I would read all the books someone wrote, and then I find another author, and I keep going like that. Yeah, but in my university days, Carl Sagan was my favorite author, and he wrote this book called In Shadows of Our Ancestors. And I read that book. It's a story, it's a fictional story about uh, we as humans, we do not know exactly where we are from. I mean, each ethnic group uh, has a story, but as a species, where did we come from? And it's a fictional story where it just uh, imagines you you were there at the beginning of time, whatever you call that, maybe 6,000 years ago, maybe 4 billion years ago, maybe 14 billion years ago, whatever you're comfortable with. If you were there to see everything unfolding, if you are an eye seeing history happening, and the book is just about that, and the human story through a long time horizon, and the changes and the struggles. And if you were to see that, then you would you would not be lost. We would not be as a species figuring out why are we the way we are, but because no one actually saw our transformation or our evolution or whatever. That's why different peoples say they have different origin stories. Anyway, that was one book that I read in my late teens, early 20s, and it changed me. It changed the way I think about home. Is home Uganda? Is home the US where I was living? Or is home the earth? Or whatever. But you get to introspect and think about where is your home, and who are your ancestors. Is it the human ancestors, or is the tribal ancestors, or is the national ancestors, or is the racial ancestors? Anyway, that's a book that really got me thinking deeply about identity and belonging, and it made me change my mind. And so, as I was writing my books, The Fourth Heritage and Beyond the Fourth Heritage, I was aiming to produce books of that caliber, books that can actually lead someone to change mind. And so those are the three ways that you could possibly change your mind, your mindset. The first one is not by any effort of your own, but the second and third, yes, you have to put in effort to travel or to read the right books. And on this channel, I talk a lot about the books that I've written. I've written 5 books altogether, but the first and second are the ones that are very specific to this topic, the Fourth Heritage and Beyond the Fourth Heritage. You can find them at Amazon, and if you happen to read them, I'd like to hear from you. Do they challenge you? Do they inspire you to change? And if so, how? How is that change happening? Well, thank you for listening, and I'll talk to you in the next one.